Hey everybody, it's Christina Holloway here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the differences between having a mentor for your career and having a sponsor. We're going to talk about the differences and how each one can help you build a successful career. We're also going to talk about why each one is important and why it helps to have both. Real quick, if you enjoy this content and want to learn more about how to make power moves in your career, make sure to follow my channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video from me. Don't forget to download your free communication toolkit, which teaches you the 5 ways to communicate with impact and confidence as you build trust, authority, and influence to grow your career. All right, so let's get started. What is a mentor? Now, we've all heard about mentors, and we've all been told to either find a mentor or, on occasion, to actually be a mentor to others. And it's a pretty popular concept. We're often encouraged to work with a mentor if we want to be successful. I've even coached people where there's a mentor program at their company, and people can get paired up with an internal mentor that they can work with to build their career. And it's a whole structured thing. So, what is a mentor? Well, it's someone who can talk to you about your work. And many times it's someone who's just a few levels above you, and that person can give you advice as to how to be successful in your role. They know the politics of the job, and they have a perspective that you might find valuable. I've seen it played out many, many ways. Someone who takes mentorship very seriously will allow you to shadow them for a day and help you get to know what work is like at their level. A mentor may spend dedicated time with you, like a monthly lunch date or a Zoom call, where they talk with you about what you're working on and give you helpful advice on how to move forward. You can even pick someone you don't know well at all, like an influencer, an author, or even the CEO of a business, and that person may spend time talking to you for an hour or two. And that's how you get value from learning how they became successful. Here's the thing about mentorship, though. There are plenty of articles on how mentorship works, but it's not really defined. And the people who are asked to be mentors are busy people. They may want to work with you in the beginning, but unless it's a formal program like the company I've been working with, then it tends to fall off eventually. People tend to move on, and sometimes you're left wondering if it's over, or you need to find another mentor, or maybe this mentorship has evolved into something else. You may also feel like you're the one doing all the outreach and connecting, and you may be wondering what you should be asking in a mentor relationship. Here's another thing about mentorship. It's recommended a lot. You might even ask your boss what you can do to continue to grow and progress in your career, and your boss will suggest a mentor. It's important to remember, though, that a mentor isn't necessarily invested in your career or your career progress. They're usually just there to give you advice and help you navigate potential scenarios in the workplace that may be familiar. So, while a mentor is often suggested as a way to build your career, if you pick the wrong mentor or you struggle with keeping the connection long term, it may not provide you with the value and benefits for which it was intended. What is a sponsor? Okay, so this is another type of person in the workplace who can have a tremendous impact on your career and career success. It's also not something that's talked about as often as having a mentor, mostly because having a sponsor is a much more personal connection. Here's what I mean by that. A sponsor is someone at work who believes in you and gives you opportunities, knowing that you'll be able to figure it out. They believe in your success. This is a person who will speak up for you, defend you, and essentially talk you up when you're not around. Could it be your boss? Sure, why not? Does it have to be your boss? No, it does not. A sponsor could be a peer who recommends you for a big project, a stakeholder who helps you through a difficult situation so you look good, or even a skip level who sees something special in you. The skip level is where you might see a sponsor more often. They're opening a path for you to navigate your way to career success. And if you think they're just being kind, they're not. They're going to get something out of this too, which is putting you in a prime position to be successful so they look good too. Win-win. Most of the people I work with want a promotion, and before I even move forward with them, my first question is to ask, how is this relationship with their boss? And my second question is, who is advocating for them to get promoted? If either of those elements is missing from the beginning, then getting promoted, especially to senior manager, director, or executive director, is going to be hard or harder than expected. This relationship isn't as easy to develop and nurture as a mentor relationship, and sometimes you may think you have a sponsor who has your best interests at heart, only to find out that it's a little flawed. I'm working with a client right now who's preparing for a big promotion to VP, and her boss has indicated that he's advocating for her. Great. It's his job for the next 6 months to ensure that she starts to show the skills necessary for the next role as she works with me on coaching. At the same time, he keeps suggesting that she needed to change who she was fundamentally instead of also reminding her that he's advocating for her behind the scenes. He keeps putting the sole responsibility on her to morph into this person that he expects her to be, instead of allowing her to show her true strengths as she continues to prep for this new role. Is he being a true advocate? Well, it seems like he genuinely wants her to succeed. He doesn't actually know how to advocate for her to ensure that her efforts will be recognized. But we're working on that. I've been working with her to build her communication prompts to include reminders for her boss to understand when advocacy is important as she continues to show her value. Because for this situation, she's already preparing for a big promotion that many decision makers have agreed on. She just needs him to advocate for her to those decision makers when she has wins. And that's the point. Even a sponsor may need guidance from time to time because they can advocate for you to climb the ladder, but sometimes they need to understand how to make the best impact in order to help you secure that coveted job. Why are they both important? Okay, so here's the thing. Most people I talk to when it comes to executive coaching or career coaching will tell me that they have a mentor or are actively looking for a mentor. And when I ask them why they're looking for a mentor, many times they really don't have a solid answer. Also, no one really tells me they're working on identifying or building a relationship with someone who can advocate for them. In fact, of the thousands of hours of coaching over the past 8 years, I can safely say that no one actually worked with me and told me they need to identify an advocate or a sponsor to help them succeed at work. It's just less common. My big question here is why, and I have a few theories. Like I mentioned, having a sponsor is more difficult and it's a much more personal relationship. It's a little easier to look for a mentor, ask someone to be your mentor, and then listen to them give you advice for hours on end. You may take that advice or you may not, but you probably think that you're building a good relationship and learning a lot with a mentor. And that's true, but only up to a point. You do need to learn from those around you how to navigate the space in your industry. A mentor is going to give you a lot of that information. But after that, you're absolutely going to need someone who believes in you and can recommend you for bigger things. In doing research for this video, I came across an article, which I'll link down below, and it gives a great quote from Katia Tubman, who's the managing editor for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at Insider Inc. Here's what she said. Mentors are the people who talk with you. They talk through things and try to figure out what's next. And sponsors are those who talk about you. So here's my recommendation on how you can nurture both relationships, because it's important that you figure out how to make room for both in your career. It's also important that you understand what you should expect from both relationships to make them valuable to you. If you're in the process of identifying a mentor or you're already working with one, make sure you establish some boundaries when you're just getting started. That means you can ask for a beginning and end date, like let's work together for 6 months or 1 year. This will especially give you the chance to test out the relationship to see if it's going to work. You can set a schedule if your mentor is open to regular communication. In that case, go ahead and schedule calls and give a small outline of what you'd like to discuss, and leave room for some open discussion at the end of the call or meeting. Also, plan for some in-person meetings a few times in the year. That may be having lunch or coffee or even meeting up at an industry event. If you do that, You can also ask your mentor to introduce you to people you'd be interested in meeting. With a mentor, you want them to talk to you, but you also want to give the mentor a framework so that they know how to show up for you. You're the one benefiting from this relationship, so you get to outline the terms and, of course, work within reason of the mentor's schedule and availability. Feel free to send them emails as well, especially about industry news and sharing your perspective. A mentor is going to be happy to see that you're learning from their input. And if you're going to ask for advice on a problem that you're having at work, make sure to frame it as needing a second opinion. This actually positions the problem as something you've been trying to handle, and that the mentor's input would be valuable but not critical to the outcome. Your mentor is there to guide you, not save you. With a sponsor, you want to start looking at the people around you and ask yourself who's in a good position and where do you currently have a healthy relationship to advocate for you. At first, especially if you're in a more entry-level role, this may be your boss and your more experienced peers. What you're looking for is someone to advocate for you to get on bigger projects. Once you start preparing for a promotion, the most important advocates are going to be your boss and stakeholders, usually the people you worked with on those projects. As you continue to get promoted and move further into management and upper management positions, the most important advocates you will have are going to be your boss, more senior stakeholders who see you doing important work, and the skip level leadership. Why? Because they're looking to fill the upper ranks with high performers. And if you're on their radar, you'll be invited into some important conversations. Here's an important point about a sponsor. You don't need only one, but make sure you have at least one at any given point in your career. That's why finding an advocate or sponsor is a little harder. You have to nurture these relationships and deliver on your promises. Also, sponsors and advocates are usually inside the company, while mentors don't have to be. When you identify someone as a sponsor or advocate, make sure you set these boundaries. They should be communicating with you when they advocate for you. It's important to know who's advocating for you and why. You need to understand what issues are on the table and what skills you're developing as you continue to grow. Like my client, she's received feedback that she's excellent at setting strategic goals with her team members, but leadership doesn't seem to see her being strategic at their level. In this case, it's important for her to show her strategic side to the decision makers who are advocating for her. She needs to start managing up. Also, make sure you actually talk with this person, your boss or stakeholder or skip level, and identify them as a sponsor or advocate. This is a great way to establish a productive working relationship with your boss. This is a mutual relationship. Most importantly, if that person falls short of being an advocate or an effective advocate or sponsor for you, then you get to pivot into working with someone else. And finally, if you're a woman, a person of color, or LGBTQ+, and you think you need someone like you as an advocate, I'd caution about being so siloed. While it's true that they could help open a path for you because they have a similar lived experience, for most positions at the top, these demographics are still very limited. My client is a woman entering a heavily male-dominated leadership space, and the people advocating for her are all men who want more women in their upper ranks. Sometimes you're the groundbreaking candidate, and sometimes you're going to be the one who advocates for others below you. Be open to unlikely and surprising advocates. All right, so that's it for my video on why you need to nurture both a mentor relationship and a sponsor relationship. Let me know in the comments below which one you've worked with and how they helped your career. I'd love to hear what worked best for you. Don't forget to download my free communication toolkit, which I provided in the link below. And if you've enjoyed watching this video and you found it helpful, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up by hitting that like button, and make sure you subscribe to my channel so you never miss another video from me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.